Now, the minority in parliament say workers slowed down the construction of Agenda 111 on hospitals because NPP and the government officials have taken away the funds meant for the project from the contractors. Despite receiving more than 1 million cedis each from government, contractors have failed to turn up at numerous sites. Speaking during a tour of some of the sites, minority spokesperson on health, Kojo, tasked President Akufo-Addo to ensure the work is completed. Kweku Asante has more in the following report.
Close to 3 years since President Akufo-Addo promised the Agenda 111 hospitals, a number of the projects are yet to take off with the land for some bare and contractors not on site. A number of these contractors have all been paid more than $1 million but have failed to show up to work. Ranking member on the Health Committee, Kojo, says this is because government and party officials have gone to take the money from the contractors.
These people have been given the money, and behind the scene, the NPP gurus themselves have gone to take the money. And so if you push the contractor, he cannot come to site because you yourself, you've taken the money from the contractor. And you cannot do anything to the contractor because you have taken the money. So where is the money to take site? So you may not have the moral right to even put pressure on the contractor to go to site. Okay? And there are even people who are also on site, but if you look at the magnitude of work and you correspond it to the amount of money that has been given to them, I mean, it's not tallying.
He insists government must show commitment and do as it has promised.
Let me sound this warning that it's not as though we are doing a 9-day wonder, that we have been here and then they will discuss the issues in the media and that is all. We'll come back. So we are calling on the powers that be that the contractors must report to site immediately.
In the Bue municipality of the Oti region, the promised facility is yet to take off, and the chief of the area is complaining about the politicization of the project.
Bibia omudi adani politics. Nanso enye bibia na se eye politics. Sebi ye wo mpenyinfo sebi kafra ya titi won fie. Nanso enne akoye se wo ma beye miensa na wayi beye mienu a ope omo asem. Eno na ye yenja sikanfo problem ayewo. Yen bibia adani politics. Uko other places. Se mi mbodi a KJB haya ohwe bibi omo aye omo adwuma aso yen de we a ehoti no saa neti adwuma nso omo ka say 1 year na nkomatimi adru baabi nanso ase yen ye yama yen ka Ghana for ho memiti o minye politics o na momu se mi hu se u ya de pa na mi ye de mi bo abaso mesere mo sorry ha mo be ko ho na mo akohwe adwuma agenda 11 no mo akohwe ade a ewo eho ehayen pa niam bebre wo ho a ehayen.
MP for the constituency Kofi Adam says his people are angry about the situation.
This can be $1.2 million advance payment after a year. Something seriously must be done, and my people are really angry. If you speak to the chiefs and the elders, they will tell you they are really, really, really angry, and they feel being let down. The promises are becoming too many.
The story on Agenda 111 is quite similar for all the sites we have visited so far. We've been to the Ashanti region, the Eastern region, and now here at Damfa, here in the Greater Accra region, the Medina constituency. This is the land earmarked for the Agenda 111 hospital for Damfa and its environs. So far, about $1.3 million has been paid to the contractor, including Micheleti, the contractors, 3 of them, including Micheleti, to mobilize and come to site. But no work has been done so far. Unlike even other sites where some excavations had been made, there is no such thing here. Indeed, you can still see some plantation, which presupposes that some farmers are still cultivating the land, contrary to government plan to use this for Agenda 111 and having advanced some form of money to the contractors close to a year ago. We understand payments of about $1.3 million were made in March of 2022, but no work has been done so far. And so all the sites we have visited so far with the minority on the health committee indicates that government needs to do a little bit more to supervise and monitor the Agenda 111 hospitals, which it seeks to help deal with healthcare in the country. With so many sites laying bare, with so many sites having no work being done, or contractors not on site, government's timeline of 2024 will completely be a mirage. And also the idea that by 2027, much of it would have been completed will not come to pass. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Danfa, Accra.
Now, investigations by the Fourth Estate has revealed that parents who want their children placed in Ghana's top-tier senior high schools could achieve that with cash despite the computerized school selection and placement system. The CSSPS was introduced to eliminate corruption in the placement system, but some private individuals and government officials have connived to undermine the system. In their latest investigation, the Fourth Estate, Adjoa Adobia Owusu, and Evans Aziamo Mens revealed that protocol placement into Category A schools were sold in 2022, even though approval for such placement was limited to only the Minister of Education and the Director General of the Ghana Education Service. Here are excerpts from the documentary.
The Ministry of Education set up a resolution center to resolve regarding the computerized school placement system. When the Fourth Estate visited the center, desperate parents were found negotiating and seeking help. Building was a network of security men and cleaners who served as liaisons between the desperate parent and officials of the CSSPS. The Fourth Estate reporter who went undercover met Eric Agri, a cleaner. He indicated he could help change the placement from Palm Senior High School to Infantiman Senior High School at a fee.
Big school and big school, and yet better says the amounts are we about. I still with me and suffer.
But in less than 24 hours, Eric increased the amount from 7,500 Ghana cedis and would not reduce it. We presented another candidate who had been placed in Wesley Girls in Accra and wanted a higher grade school, Agri Memorial Zion Senior High School in Cape Coast. Eric demanded 8,500 Ghana cedis for that slot. After demanding and receiving payments, the syndicate changed the placements of the candidate from Accra Girls Wesley to Agri Memorial Zion Senior High School in 2 days.
Why are they?
With 8,500 cedis, the CSSPS was undermined as placements was changed from Accra Wesley Girls to Agri Memorial Zion School, Cape Coast, and with 11,000 Ghana cedis, placements was changed from Presbyterian Senior High Technical School, Ebri, to Infantiman Girls Senior High School. The most sought-after Category A schools, such as Wesley Girls, at the time of our investigation, were going for as high as 20,000 Ghana cedis.
If only 2 people have access to Category A schools, we're able to tell who did the placement for a certain student. So if these allegations come up as saying that, oh, a parent have paid money and this student have found himself at this school, you go to the system and IT people are able to tell which of the 2 people did the placement. So it becomes much easier than a situation where if I have 100 people with IDs and it takes you so long to determine who did the placement for this person. So that is why access to Category A is very restricted.
If there's fraud in the matter, then myself as Director General and the Minister should take the responsibility. I fully accept that and I fully agree. But that is also the reason why I knew that I'm part of it. I took measures to ensure that the issues relating to corruption and the place on the payment of monies and things like that have been dealt with. And I wrote to the CID and then the BNI.
A ranking member on the Education Committee in Parliament says he is vehemently opposed to any form of protocol in the placement of students into the senior high schools. Speaking on the AM show on the back of the documentary, the legislator said there should be credibility, fairness and equity in the school placement system.
The credibility, fairness and equity within the context of the entire CSS PS program. Since I joined Ghana's parliament in the 7th Parliament, 2017, I'm yet to have any opportunity of any protocol arrangement. So I don't know those who get those opportunities and why the rest of us have to bear the brunt. And this actually generates a lot of disaffection for us from our constituents because they feel that we perhaps are being greedy and selfish, and perhaps we get these opportunities and we don't give it to them. So this is why I am in principle opposed to anything to do with protocol, because it generates a perception that is not true. It ropes in people like myself and many others who don't have those opportunities, and yet our constituents think that we do. For me, in principle, I don't support such arrangements. If there are corrections to be made and there are legitimate matters to deal with, that is different from saying that we are going to reserve 10%, 5% of placement allocations or recruitment into a security agency for protocol just because of persons who are privileged in society. If we are going to continue to be giving opportunities to those who are already privileged in society, then what is going to happen to the less privileged? Is that the type of society that we are trying to build? So the wealthy, the influential, and the elite should continue to get all the best opportunities to the detriment of the rest of the population? Is that how to build a nation?
But is that not what the system has created already? Because if you go to certain schools... But that is not
acceptable. I don't agree with what the system has created. That is my whole point.
Now he's calling on the Office of the Special Prosecutor to show keen interest in carrying out investigations on the matter.
The Director General and the Minister are the two persons who have access, unfettered access, as far as the placement system is concerned, and particularly so to do with grade A and grade B schools. So if we have seen that placements are being sold and auctioned for persons to get their awards into grade A and grade B schools, you cannot tell me that the minister can feign innocent. If he knows that he hasn't done that, he's done no wrong, then he should be the one eager. He should have been championing the call for an investigation to fish out those who are doing it so that he can exonerate himself. Barring that, and given the liturgical attitude of security agencies towards investigating this matter, it seems to suggest that it is an institutionalized cabal that is at work. And perhaps there are many tentacles that the octopus has. So my suggestion would be that at this point, we ought to be looking at the Office of the Special Prosecutor or the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice to look into this matter. The disinterest of the security agencies is very telling. And the fact that, quote unquote, this has been known to be happening, and yet calls for an investigation have not been championed aggressively, particularly by the ministry, leaves to be desired.
Well, the Education Minister, Dr. Yao Seyaduchum, says a full-blown investigation will be opened into the matter. He spoke on Ghana Television Network this morning.
The church, Presbyterian Church, how do I tell the moderator that the school that you funded and continue to fund and provide resources, if you want 5 or 10 students to go there, I won't allow you. So it's a system that we came to inherit. If unfortunately, people are using dubious means to get access to something that has been set aside to these key supporters of education in the country. It has to be stopped, and that's why I embrace the documentary that has been done. As soon as we know the content, we'll respond appropriately, and we'll work with the security agencies to ensure that this year's placement will be flawless, and that nobody will be able to take advantage of something so sacred as free senior high school and giving opportunity to everyone to be in. I'm so happy, though, that something has been done, and we are going to embrace it and look at plug any loopholes that's out there. The protocol from the senior high school headmasters, nobody approves it. They just upload it. So if the high school headmaster has 50 people on protocol, they just upload it, and the technical person has to just say approved. You don't vet it. So the idea that you sit there and you are determining, no, you see, what happens with placement in all schools for that matter, and category A schools for that matter, is that 30% of all the placement is set aside for students who went to public junior high schools, a proxy for disadvantaged. So until now, until free senior high school, if you go to a school like Wesley Girls, only about 5 or 10% at most will have gone to public schools. This new system allows a minimum of 30% to come from those who have an equity intervention, so that they too can have access to schools that they will never have dreamt of going.
Now, presidential hopeful of the New Patriotic Party, Alan Kojo says he is counting on the divine intervention of God as he resumes his campaign to lead the New Patriotic Party as its flag bearer in the 2024 general elections. The party stalwart, who recently resigned from his post as Minister for Trade and Industry, and expressed gratitude to President Akufo-Addo for giving him the opportunity to serve the nation.
But I want to use this opportunity again to graciously thank my senior brother, the President of the Republic, for giving me the opportunity to serve the people of Ghana. Secondly, I want you to join me in asking God for his continued blessings and protection as I proceed on this journey, which is filled with trials and tribulations. But I've always put my trust in God. I've always put my trust in God. And I've been guided by Proverbs chapter 3, verse 16. Trust in God with all your heart. And do not rely on your own judgment. In all things, give praise and thanks to him, and he shall make your path straight. And that has been my guiding spirit. And I hope that I can continue to count on you as I go around this country seeking the favor of our Lord Almighty. Mitiase.
Now, the NPP presidential hopeful Alan Kyerematen is set to begin a tour of the Ashanti region this morning. Maxwell Agbagba is there. Let's take you straight to the Kumasi airport now for the live update. So Alan Kojo Kyerematen has just arrived at the Kumasi airport where he's been received by party faithfuls and people who believe in his candidature to welcome him to the Ashanti region, where he is beginning a tour of that region. In the company of his team is our man Maxwell Agbagba. Will be taking you live to Kumasi for you to for a live update as and when it happens. So there you have it on your screens now. Let's take you to Kumasi now. So there are live footages from the Kumasi airport where Alan Kojo just landed. Now still on politics, the Member of Parliament for Yendi, Farouk Aliyu Mahama, says Vice President Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the best candidate to lead the New Patriotic Party into the 2024 general elections, despite the availability of suitable presidential materials in the party. According to him, Dr. Bawumia has shown that he has the capabilities to be a transformative president for Ghana, and therefore the party must allow him to lead them to break the 8. He revealed that in an interview on the JoyNews channel.
The finest presidential. It tells you that we have good products to sell. But God says you cannot get everybody to be the president. So all the fine brains will then come together. But it's the way we carry ourselves, the way we do things. As President Kojo said, we must manage and manage so that the 2008 replication will not repeat itself. So whoever that emerges must have the support of the person in the way he treats others. No disrespect, mutual respect, code of conduct, we follow, we do whatever we have to do. And I believe all those who are aspiring to be flag bearers are men of integrity, people who have supported the party. But you see, it's only one person that God will choose. And it's only God who knows who will choose. But me, my support for Dr. Bawumia is not because my late father wanted to see him at a point. I see the vice president within the shortest period of time has been able to be a force of reckon for this country. He has moved the country as a vice president. He's done a lot. He has the vision to do more with the support of the president and has carried himself as a vice president and obviously to the administration of everybody. Very competent. Because we need, I'm not saying all the other people who are contesting are not competent, but a vice president at least can lead Ghana to the promised land. And I believe that all the other contestants have that capacity, but God will choose one. And I believe that Dr. Bawumia is somebody who stands tall. In the last 16 years, everything is about Bawumia. Even those who don't like him are speaking about Bawumia. So Bawumia is a force to reckon. And I believe that he would bring everybody together, inshallah, if God crowns him the flag bearer. He is a very gentleman, a good listener. He obviously needs the support of Honorable Kojo Chairman, Dr. Apreku, or Kunedu, Kennedy Japan. He will need, because they are all forces to record. We want to break the 8. And I'm supporting Dr. Bawumia because with Dr. Bawumia, we will be able to bring that unity and that gap, and everybody will feel one and will be united. Both the north, the south, the east, the west will be united around.
But what do you say to people who say that, well, like I said earlier, he came to meet Alan Chamante in the queue.
Yes.
Why not allow him to go, then he will come?
No, I don't. I see, politics has nothing like queue. For instance, I became a member of parliament within less than 2 years. But I can tell you, people have become members of parliament for years, and what I've been able to bring, the innovations and the dynamism and the enthusiasm I've brought into differs from that. Dr. Bawumia can even come late, but it's about within the shortest period of time what he's been able to do. I'm not saying Honorable Alhaji Kojo Chairman has not done. He's done a lot for Mother Ghana, but I believe in my own conviction that Dr. Bawumia has a competitive advantage in terms of how he's going to win, and we breaking the 8, pulling some numbers that are floating voters that would come on board to win. And if you say the queue, Dr. Kunedu Apreku contested with President Kufuor and Nanado years back. I'm talking about Kunedu Apreku. So if you say Q, then Dr. Kunedu Apreku is also senior than Dr. Alan Chamante. Because you know it, that he's been there 92, 96, 96, 98. So it's not about who comes first. The last can be first. So let us look at whatever. And I believe Mr. Alan Chamante would also be somebody who will help us break the 8. But for now, I feel that my support for Dr. Bawumia It's on principle, and I believe that I don't feel shy to say I'm supporting Dr. Bawumia. But if my late father was alive, obviously would have supported Dr. Bawumia.
So that's Farouk Aliyu Muhammad there. Now joining us for a conversation on this is Professor John Osei Boahing, who's political science lecturer at the KNUST. For more on this, Prof, grateful that you could join us. What's your prediction from where you sit? Is it, first of all, let's pick your thought on what the MP said. He believes that over the last 16 years, Bawumia has sold himself. He's done so much for Ghana and the party, and therefore he should be allowed to go. What do you make of that? Hello, Prof.
Your voice is so low, I can't hear anything.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, the volume is so low. I can't hear.
Can you hear me now, sir?
No, I can hear you now.
Great. So I'm asking for your take on what the MP just said, that over the last 16 years, the Vice President has done so much for the country and the party, and therefore he should be allowed to lead them into 2024. What do you make of it?
Okay. I must confess I didn't hear much of what you were saying because of the low volume. Howbeit, I will say that I had a gist of what you wanted me to comment on concerning the eligibility of Mahmoud Bawumia to contest for the presidential candidature on the ticket of MPP.
Okay.
I think it will be in the right direction. Among other people who are equally eligible to contest, he has also, over the years, proven his ability to lead a nation, having assisted the current president right from the days that he tried to contest on the ticket of the party. And he made a greatest mark for himself during after the 2012 elections, during the court proceedings, where he had to stand in for the party to defend why the elections should be declared in their favor. And he did a lot, and he won the respect of many Ghanaians. So I think that alone gave him a very big plus. Thereafter, the current president, gave him a lot of opportunities to perform. And he took advantage to give practical ideas. Or he's been able to sell himself to the public as somebody who is a creative thinker and can equally come out with ideas to help salvage our economic and social challenges. So if someone is recommending him as the best to come after President Akufo-Addo, I will not argue very much with the person, provided the grassroots of the party, who are the kingmakers, so agree with the view of the individual.
But from where you sit, will it be Alan or Bawumia?
You see, from where the two gentlemen, it can't be Alan or Bawumia. We have others who are also popping up. And currently, there hasn't been any scientific research to prove that the two people are the leading figures in the party, or who have the possibility of becoming the running, or what do you call it, the candidate for the presidential election in 2024. So I wouldn't want to come out to say that Alan or Bawumia, because others are on the ground, they are doing their own thing. And when you come to internal party contest, like the late lawyer said, General Secretary of MPP said, fear delegates. The late Sir John, he said, fear delegates. You could do all the saying, you can show all the abilities, the capabilities and all that, but the onus lies with the delegates to so decide. However, I can confirm that the two gentlemen have done the best that they can. They've really sold themselves out to Ghanaians as people with passion for the nation, as people with innovative ideas to support the nation. And I think it can go to anyone's favor. But then, looking at incumbency, I think the vice president has done a lot more and has a lot more advantage over all the others. But the ultimate will be decided by the delegates. Because similar thing happened during former president, late president, Vice President Aliu Muhammad time. He was the vice president. He had all the incumbency to his advantage. But then candidate Akufo-Addo was able to win over him. Though he was, let me put it, a minister in the same government, he was able to win over him. So this alone will convince anybody else that it is your ability to convince the delegates that you have the potential to win and win good for the party at the general election. That will determine. So I can't simply come out to say this or that person will win.
Okay.
Except that I can vouch out that these people have really demonstrated their ability to lead the nation should they be given the opportunity.
Okay.
In the same way, the others, like Canada, Japan, and others, he has also done a lot of philanthropic work, and he's still doing it. And he's also, though he hasn't been a minister of state, he's also demonstrated his ability to support society. And Akoto Akoto can equally be penciled out as same.
Okay. All right. Grateful to you, Prof. John Osei-Bobi, for joining us there. Now let's take you back to Kumasi, where Maxwell Agbagba is joining us from what's happening to Alan Chemantin's store.
At the roundabout, we saw hundreds of NPP supporters, many of them wearing Alan Chemantin t-shirts, waiting patiently for him, to arrive here in Kumasi. We saw trucks loaded with speakers blaring out music, Alan Chemantin campaign songs, all of them waiting, waiting for him to arrive. Now he has arrived. Some formalities are going on in there, and then within some minutes he will be coming out, and then the team here will set off to the Menchia Palace. That's going to be his first port of call meeting the Ashanti Mahine. So that's what is happening in the Ashanti region this morning. Many of the supporters we've been speaking to, many of MPP faithfuls and Alan Chemantin supporters we have been speaking to this morning, call this homecoming. They say that Alan Chemantin is returning home, and they are happy, and very excited, to welcome him back home. So that's what is happening. We're here at the Kumasi Airport. Now we are moving shortly in some minutes to the Menchia Palace. Okay, so hi, what's your name, sir?
My name's Honorable Kwame Asafueje, former MP in Sita Kwame People. Today, this morning, something happened in this country. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, spoke of AFCAT. Did you see it in Chronicle? Just a week ago, His Excellency the Vice President also spoke about AFCAT. For about somewhere in the 90s, Senior Minister Osafo Marco said Chemantin conceived the idea of AFCAT was conceived by Alan Kojo Chemantin. Why are they talking about it now? Where is the Vice President talking about AFCAT now? Did they not recognize Alan Chemantin as the best trade minister in Africa and also the whole world? This is the legacy. This young man, Alan Chemantin, has left for people of Ghana and Africa and the whole world. So we should cherish it and vote for him. If nothing at all, it's Africa that can stabilize the city. It's the Africa that can create jobs.
But you agree with me that we still have issues with the city, the depreciation of the city? That's a major setback.
That was the job given to His Excellency the Vice President by the President. He was put in charge of the economy. If the city is still depreciating, then we should go and ask Vice President His Excellency Bawumia Has he accomplished the work given to him by the president? That's the question we should be asking him. Now look at the inflation. Has he accomplished that job?
More on this in our subsequent bulletins. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Petroleum company Puma Energy is advocating payment of realistic fuel prices on the Ghanaian market in a bid to deal with liquidity challenges confronting the energy sector. Due to Ghana's challenges, the Bank of Ghana has revised its policy of auctioning dollars to bulk oil distributors to import fuel into the country. This situation has left many petroleum companies exposed to liquidity challenges, which are required to sustain the supply of fuel to the market. Puma Energy's head of Africa, Fadi Mitri, who is on a visit to Ghana, tells JoyNews that although Ghana has the potential to transform the energy sector, immediate policy measures must be taken to enhance the country's energy security. Here's more in this report.
Ghana's depleting foreign reserves is beginning to pose a significant challenge to the petroleum sector. According to the auction calendar of the Bank of Ghana, a total of $200 million will be sold to bulk oil distribution companies in the first quarter of 2023. This amount is $220 million lower than the amount sold in the final quarter of 2022. The situation is, however, beginning to affect the operations of major industry players, including Puma Energy, which remains one of Ghana's biggest petroleum companies. On his recent country visit to Ghana, Puma Energy's head of Africa, Fadi Mitri, admitted that there were challenges emerging in the energy sector.
We've been in Ghana for over 15 years, and we are certainly one of the largest energy investors in the country. We've invested over the last 10 years $450 million. That puts us in a situation where, in the current environment, we have our hand on the pulse of the economy and on the crisis that is actually affecting Ghana today. We import a lot of gas oil and gasoline with our bulk distribution company. We find we're exposed to the liquidity, the dollar liquidity issues that the country is facing.
But in the wake of this crisis, how can Ghana ensure that there is constant supply of fuel on the market in order to enhance the country's energy security?
The answer to that from Puma's perspective is that what can ensure that supplies reliably arrive in Ghana is that Ghanaians are always able to pay the fair market price for the supplies. Now, Ghana is a deregulated market, which means that the price at the pump can move, but the price is in cedi. So if the foreign exchange is not allowed to move based on the market, then there will be problems. Today, the ability to access foreign exchange, to access dollars, is very constrained. A company like ourselves, which operates in many markets around the world, used to go regularly on Bank of Ghana auctions and receive the necessary dollar allocation for its purchasing program. We're not receiving that anymore.
Parliament last year passed the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation Bill aimed at facilitating the establishment of a petroleum and petrochemical hub in the country. But to fully realize the objectives of this policy, Fadi Mitri agrees the policymakers must take immediate measures that will first of all safeguard Ghana's energy sector in order to pave way for the latter.
I think it's highly needed, and I actually believe that Ghana has the ability, has every ingredient it takes to apply the necessary policies to make it work. And what I mean by ingredients, I mean the geographical ingredients. you are a corridor that can supply Burkina Faso, that can supply Mali.
In other news, Growth Director of Africa for Tap Send, Darrell Malto Abraham, has said that taxes for the e-commerce industry shouldn't hamper the growth of the sector. The Institute of Economic Affairs called for government to enact a robust e-commerce levy to tax their transactions. Mr. Abraham contends that the levy should be properly implemented and should not act as a barrier to innovation.
Well, tax is not a bad thing. Tax is a good thing. I totally believe that. It's good to tax the right places at the right time for the right reasons, right? And that's what's important. It's not so much about e-levy. So can we tax more e-commerce stuff? Yes, you can. Where is that tax? That tax should not end up in the pockets of people. That tax should be a corporate tax. That tax should be on the companies who are selling things or the companies who are dealing in Ghana. The GRA should be expanding the tax net by dealing with the companies and make sure that corporation tax within the e-commerce space works. And I'm a big fan of that, and I want that to increase. What I don't want to happen is to put taxes in the way, which means that it stifles innovation and it stops people developing new products because they feel that there'll be a tax on it, so therefore they won't do it. So yeah, e-levy should go, but increase e-commerce tax, yes you can, but put it in a place where it makes sense and not in a place where it stifles innovation and stops innovation from happening. I think one of the biggest things is education and exposure, right? So the fintech industry is not yet connected to education. So lots of people are going through school not knowing what fintech is. Lots of university students are graduating having no idea what fintech is. What we should be doing now is opening access and educating people who are in universities, people who are coming through the system, the young ones, to embrace fintech, be curious about fintech, find out what it is. There is a range of things that fintech means. It covers a broad range of things, but most of our young people don't know what it is. So let's open access. Let's connect the fintech industry to education system to make sure that people who are going through school understand what fintech is and know that they can have careers and futures in fintech instead of the traditional, oh, I'm going to work in a bank. Yeah, that's great, but you could also work in fintech.
And that's it for business. The news continues after this break. Do stay tuned.
And that's how we wrap up the bulletin. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo. Brace. Do enjoy the rest of our bulletins and enjoy the rest of the day. Good morning.